So, okay, guys, welcome again to our revision of Unit 7 and 8. Okay, we'll try to revise what we have gotten in Unit 7 and learn as well as in Unit 8. So, in this unit, uh, it will consider as an exercise or a quiz that will test your knowledge of the both previous units. Okay, guys, in exercise 1, we have answers or statements. What we have to do here is to make questions. Okay, questions. Bear in mind that in each sentence we have a number. What we have to do here whenever you have a number is to use the question word how. So for each one of these we need to put how. And bear in mind that each one of these statements are used to describe a dimension. We talked about the dimensions. We have height, okay, the distance to measure the distance from this point from the bottom up to the top. The opposite is the length to measure bottom from left to the right. We have width and depth. So for each one of these, we have to put how at the beginning because we are asking about number. The second step is to basically use the same adjective that we see or saw in the answer. So an example for number 1, it has been used the noun or the adjective wide. So after how, we simply have to put wide. After that, we need to put either is or are depending on the word or the phrase between the brackets. Okay. So the word or the phrase between the brackets is singular. There is no s here, so we use s, and then we use the same phrase here. So this is a complete and correct question about the dimension. Let's see number 2. Okay, again, the first step is to use how. Since we are asking about number, then we need to look for the adjective of the dimension, which is in this case is high. And then we need to decide which verb to use. Is it is or are, depending on the phrase here, the balance. Since we have s here, then the verb should be are. So this is a complete question. How high are the balance? Let's see number 3. Again, the first thing we have to use here is how. Since we are talking about number or asking about a number, the second step to look for the adjective, which is in this case is long, and then we have to put the verb is or are depending on this phrase. We don't have s, then we should put s before this phrase. So the question will be as follows: how long is the deck of the bridge? First step how, then the adjective long, and is then the deck of the bridge. Okay, let's see 4. It is about 35 meters in height. So we have here a noun for a dimension. We need to change it into its adjective form. The adjective of height is high. Again, we have to put how, and then high, how high, After that, to look for this phrase. Since it is singular, we have to put before it the verb is. How high is the scaffolding? Let's see number 5. This is an easy one. Again, we are asking about number. We have to put how at the beginning. Okay, we have to put down deep here, write down deep, and then to look for an S here in this case, which is there is one here, foundations. Then in this case, we have to put R before this phrase. So this is the question: how deep are the foundation of the building? And finally, they are about 12 meters in length. Again, the dimension here is given in its noun form. We need to change it into its adjective form. The adjective of length is long. Again, whenever we need to make questions, if we are willing to ask about numbers, we need to use how. Then we have to use the adjective of the dimension, which is in this case long, how long. Before choosing is or are as the verb, we need to look for the phrase here, the one we are asking about, which is we are asking about the length of the steel beams. Since we have is here, then this is an indication that we are asking about plural. Then in this case, we need to put are. How long are the steel beams? How long are the steel beams? Okay, in order to answer this type of questions, it is very important and vital to memorize and understand the dimensions in both their forms, whether they are in nouns forms or in adjective. Okay, for example, the noun of wide is width, while the adjective of width is wide. So it is very important to know their form before attempting to answer any type of question similar to these. In this exercise, we simply have to write the opposite form like we did in number 1. For example, number 1, from 1 to 4, we have the nouns. We need to change the nouns into their into adjectives. Again, you cannot answer such exercises without being able to understand the difference between their nouns and adjectives, and you cannot do that without memorizing them. So for number 1, this is the noun, depth. Adjective is deep. For number 2, height, and its adjective form is high. For number 3, width, the adjective is wide. And finally, for number 4, length, and its adjective form is long. So as we said before, you have to memorize these and identify which one the nouns and which one are the adjectives. Okay, let's move on. For number 3, we have to write these sentences to give the same meaning. So we need to change their structures. So both of them, for like number 1, both of the questions have the same meaning, but we change their structure. So instead of using the noun form, we use adjective form to ask about the height. Let's see number 2. Here we have we are given the noun form as the sentence. We need to change noun form into an adjective one, adjective emphasized. So the tower is, then we have to put the number, the meter, the measurement unit, and finally, instead of saying height, we need to put the adjective high. So whenever you are willing to use the adjective of dimensions. If you want to use them in a sentence, they should be written last at the end of a sentence you are using, like in number 2. The tower is the number, then the measurement unit, then the adjective of height, or the adjective of the dimension. Let's see number 3. What is the depth of the sea under the bridge? Okay, we need to ask using the adjective form of depth, which is deep. As we did in the exercise number 1, after using how, we need to use the adjective form of depth, which is in this case deep. How deep? Then, since we are asking about singular, we have to put is. How deep is, okay, the sea under the bridge, since there is no S here. Let's see number 4. The length of the new road is 355. Again, what we have to do here is to use the adjective form of length, which, as we learned before, can be written at the end of the sentence. So this new road is, after is, we have to put the number at its measurement unit, 355 kilometer, and then the adjective of length, which is long, 355 kilometer long. See number 5. What are the widths of the screws? Again, we need to change. Okay, let's move on for number 5. Again, since we have here how, we need the adjective of width, which is in this case wide. How wide? Then we have to look about the thing they are asking about, which are the screws. So we have plural, then the verb should be, the one we should be using here is are. How wide are the screws? Finally, for number 6, the depth of the well is more than 30 meters. So in this one, we need to use the adjective of the noun depth and put it at the end. So the well is, you have to put the number along with its measurement unit and the adjective at the end. The well is more than 30 meters deep. So this word is not necessarily to be used here. We can only use this sentence, but both of them are correct. Okay, let's see number 5. So in this exercise, we have nouns that are divided into either countable, things that we can count, like the word pen, or uncountable, noun that cannot count, like the word rice. For each one of these, we have a type or a way to ask or to make questions. We use many always with the nouns that are countable, that ends with S. So any nouns that ends with S in this exercise, we have to use how many. Okay. We use much for nouns that are uncountable, like the word cement, or as we usually know that uncountable nouns cannot be plural. We cannot say cements. So whenever we see nouns that doesn't have an S at the end, we have to use how much to ask about their quantities. Okay, let's see number 2. So this is the sentence. We need to make out question out of this sentence. He needs 20 kilos. Okay, we have the word cement. The word cement is uncountable because we are not given an s at the end. Okay, this is uncountable. Then we have to use how much at the beginning. Since we have a main verb here, need, we need a helping verb. It will, the question will be as follows: how much cement does the builder need? Okay, this is a complete question in the present simple form. Okay, helping verb, subject, main verb without adding s. We use must instead of money because the word cement is uncountable. Let's see number 3. They are using 2 cranes. We have s, so this is a countable noun. If we want to use a question for the countable nouns, we need to use how many. Then we say how many cranes. Okay, we switch both of them. So instead of saying they are, we can say are they or men using, since men is substituted by the pronoun they. How many cranes are the men using, or how many cranes are they using? Okay, bear in mind for each sentence we have a different tense. Okay, for each tense we have a way of forming question for it. Let's see number 4. So number 4 is like number 2, exactly like number 2. How much oil does the car need? How much oil does the car need? We put how much at the beginning because oil is uncountable. We use does as a helping verb for the subject the car, since it is singular, and does aid the main verb need. Let's see number 5. I am buying 25 screws. We have countable, so we can say how many screws are you buying? How many screws are you buying? Finally, they can carry about 50 cubic meters. Okay, how can we form a question since we have the noun concrete, which is uncountable? We need to say or use how much. Concrete can. Why did we use can? Because we have already given can question. If you want to make questions using can, we simply need to switch their position, substitute their position. Okay, substitute these, they or can. So the question would be how much concrete can they carry? For 5, let's go through about the main vocabularies in this diagram. This is a deck. This is the deck of the bridge. Picture describes a bridge. These two are called piers. Okay, they are used to carry the half part of the bridge, which are cables and the pylons. The pylons here are used to connect the cables into them. And if you want to measure the distance from this point to this point, this is called span. So this is one span. So these are the main vocabulary that we can see in any diagram of any bridge. Okay, let's see number 7. And number 7, we need to make question using the word will. Okay, we talked about will and we said that will is used if you want to talk about things that happened in the past, that not happening in the present, but will happen in the future. Like this date. This date is in the future. Okay, how can we make questions? Let's see here. How long? Okay, we are asking about the length. The length of what? Of the tunnel. How long will the tunnel be? How long will the tunnel be? Okay, will indicate that we are asking about something that gonna happen in the future. It will, okay, have to put this information. It will be 40 kilometer long. It will be 40 kilometer long. Let's see number 3. How many? So we have to look about number. So this is the number we have. So here we're asking about railway lines. How many railway lines will it have? It will have 2. Again, if we have a main verb in the sentence, we have to put will before it, since will are used here as a helping verb. Let's see number 5. How? Again, we are asking about a number. We can use either depth, okay, or width. Both of them can be used in 5 and 7. How wide will it be? So the answer is here. It will be then 8 meter, and the adjective of width, wide. It will be 8 meter wide. Again, let's see 7. Similar to 6, how deep will it be? It will be 300 meter deep. So here we are asking about a time. Okay, when will. Okay, whenever you see a question word like when, we have to use will after that. When will the engineer is the subject. Okay, what is the verb here? This is the noun. Okay, the verb of completion is complete. When will the engineers complete it? What do we mean by it? We are talking about the tunnel. نفق. They will. Okay, who are they? The engineers. They will complete it in 2025. So if you want to ask about questions or about things that are going to happen in the future, we only need a subject at the beginning of the sentence, then will, then the action that the subject's going to do in the future. And finally, you have to put the date. Okay, let's see number 8. We need to answer these questions from 1 to 6. Okay, you can answer them using what? These are the answers that are given between brackets. And bear in mind that from 1 to 6, we are using here different types of tenses. So for each tense, we have a different way of answering. Okay, let's see number 2. Have you ever worked in an electronic company? So this is clearly the answer will be incorrect since we have video shop. So instead of saying electronic company, we have video shop. So at the beginning, we need to make a negative statement. No. Okay, no. I haven't. No. Okay. Substitute their positions. Since someone is asking you about something, they're going to answer using the subject I. No, I haven't. Then you make another sentence. I have worked in a video shop. I haven't. I have worked in a video shop. Subject, helping verb have, since have comes with I. The verb is past participle form. And then we just complete the sentence, but including the correct answer instead of the false information. Number 3. Will they build a bridge from Africa to Europe? Okay, this is the false information, incorrect information. They are not gonna build a bridge, they're gonna build a town. So, no. Okay, substitute both of them instead of saying will they, they will. No, they will not. Point, then, they will build a tunnel from Africa to Europe. Okay, see number 4. Are they constructing? We have ing here. Are they constructing the tunnel now? Okay, this is the incorrect information. They are not constructing. They are planning and designing. So are they, again, substitute them or reverse them. We can say no, they are. No, they are not. They are planning and designing the tunnel now. 5. Has NASA ever put men on Mars? So this is false information. This is the correct one. Has NASA? Okay, NASA is inhuman, so we need to use its pronoun, which is it. Okay, so no, it has not. It has, or NASA has put man on the moon. For 6, did Russia launch the first satellite in 1960? And bear in mind that since we used it here as a question, we didn't have to put ed at the verb, but in question, okay, in question we have to use ed. So no, again, Russia, its pronoun is it. Substitute the position. No, it did not. It launched ed, the first satellite in 1957. Again, subject, verb, and its past participle form, then the object. Okay, let's say number 9. We have to write these sentences using the present perfect tense. Again, try to remember that whenever you want to talk about things that happened in the past but we don't have a date, then the present perfect is required to be used. So from 1 to 6, the sentences are in the past. Why? How did we know that? Because each sentence contains a time expression or time phrase. Okay, indicates when exactly each event did finish in the past. What we are willing to do here is to remove this time expression to make sentences without this time expression using the present perfect. Again, what are the structure of the present perfect? We have subject, has, or have. When to use has and when to use have, depending on the subject. If the subject is singular, mufrad, you have to use has. If the subject is plural جمع استخدم have. Then the verb and its past participle form. And the verbs, as we said, uh, in English, especially the present perfect, especially if if they were irregular, shall, we need to use the past participle form. For example, the word break. This is the base form. The past, if we have a date, use broke. No date, then we use broken. How can I tell the difference? You can't, except only if you memorize these irregular lists. Okay, let's see number 2. NASA launched the space shuttle 15 minutes ago. Again, let's try to change the sentence from the past into the present perfect. So NASA is it. Okay, let's follow the structure here. So NASA is the subject. So subject is singular. Then we have to use has. Okay, we have to put here has and remove the main time expression here. NASA had launched the space shuttle. Why we didn't change the verb into its past participle form? Because the verb here is regular. So whenever you use the past or the present perfect, we only had to put ed. Let's see number 3. A virus attacked. Virus, bear in mind this is a singular. Well, how did we know that? Because we use the article a. Virus, this is the type or the nature of the word itself. Does it mean that this word is plural? A virus attacked our office computers 2 hours ago. So this is the first thing you have to do. And this is the subject, this is the verb. In between we have to use has. A virus has attacked our office computers when we don't know. See number 4. I, the subject, wrote it the verb in its past simple form. So we need its past participle form. Okay, this is irregular, then you need to memorize its their structures or their forms. So I comes with have, I have. Wrote is irregular, we have write, wrote, and written. We need to use the third one, which is written. I have written the email and I sent it to the customer yesterday. Again, we have another sentence here, connected by and I have. Let's see number 5. The technician took Since we don't have ed, this is irregular. So we have a list for it. We have 1, 2, 3. We have take, took, taken. We use the third one. The technician is singular, so we need to use has. The technician has taken the hard drive out of the computer and we deleted the time. Okay, 6. The exhaust pipe fell off my car 10 minutes ago. So this is the subject of the sentence. The exhaust pipe fell. This is the verb. So if you don't have ed, so this is an indication or a strong indication that this verb is irregular. So we have to look back to the list. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have fall, fell, fallen. We need to use the third one. With the exhaust pipe, no S here at the end of each word. We have to use has. The exhaust pipe has fallen off my car. So, main difference between the two, the present simple and the past simple and the present perfect is whether you want to use a date in your sentence or not. That's the only difference. And their structure, it differs uh, since the present perfect requires the use of an auxiliary verb like has in sentences or answers, along with the third or the past participle form of the main verb. Okay, for 10, as we learned before, there are different ways of uh, describing whether there are missing items or damaged ones. For example, let's say number 1, the first one thing. Let's see number 2. Number 2, the radio has no batteries. Okay, we can say the radio doesn't have any batteries, or we can say there are no batteries in the radio. So each one of these structures can be used number 3, 4, 5, 6 in a similar way, but you need to change what? To change the nouns. Look at number 3 here. The light has no bulb. What did we change? We changed only the subject and the object, basically the nouns. So this is what you have to change in each sentence. Okay, let's see number 11. So we talked about the past or the active and the passive forms of sentences. Active means we have subject in the sentences, in each sentence. Someone who did the action, or we are focusing on who did the action. But if we don't have a subject, okay, or the subject is not important, the doer of the action is not important, but the verb or the action itself is more important, then what use the passive. What's the difference between each one of them? We learned on how to make sentences in the passive form. What we have to do is identify the verb. Okay, then anything after it is the object, so we have to put it at the beginning. Then we have broken. Before in between we have to use either is or are. Okay, broken, there is no is, so we use the verb is the windscreen is broken. Then the subject is deleted. So someone has. Okay, this is the main verb. This is the object. The object comes here at the beginning, the rear seat of the car. There is no S at the end of each word. What did we have here is both the verb is, then the verb, the main verb itself. The receipt of the car is burnt. Let's see number 5. Again, we have. With that, we have bent. Anything after that comes as subject in the passive form. The poles of the scaffolding. We have S here, so we need to use R in between. The poles of the scaffolding are bent. Okay, let's see number 5. They've turned the safety jackets. Again, they is the subject, have as a helping verb. We delete those. This is the main verb. Okay. Anything after that is the subject of the passive form. In between, we have to use either is or are. Let's look about the subject. The safety jackets, we have S. So this is plural. Then this is indication of the use of are. The safety jackets are turned. Okay, let's see number 6. Someone has scratched the rear panel of the car. Again, so someone is the subject, has is the auxiliary verb, and scratch is the main verb. Anything after that is the subject of the passive form. So the rear panel of the car. Is there an S at the end of each word? No. Then we have to use is. The rear panel of the car is. Finally, we have to put the verb at the end. Okay, again, bear in mind, there is no doer in the passive form here. Okay, there is no doer. Okay, let's continue. So in this exercise, we need to complete the table based on the first sentence in each row. Okay. So let's see the first one. He has bent the antenna. The antenna is the antenna. The antenna is bent. So this is what? This is the passive. Similar to exercise 11. Bent. Okay, again, there is a small bend. Why did we say that? Because we changed the verb into the noun. This is the verb. Again, the past participle form. Its noun is bent, the base form. Okay, the fire has burnt. The walls, simply have to put the verb here. The walls are burnt. They are too large. Okay, I need the base form because we need to use what? We need to use the verb as a noun. Burns, حروق. You've cracked the window. The window is cracked. There are, so this is an easy one. This is the past. This is an indication of the past. We delete it. And we have plural, so we have to put is there are some cracks. I've torn my shirt. My shirt is torn. By who? I don't know. There is a. Since we don't have ed here, it is an indication of the verb is irregular. So I need the base form of turn, which is tear, because we use it as a noun. There is tear in my shirt. Okay, let's see number 3. We have to write these sentences to give the same or similar meaning. Like we use here in 12. we need to use the same here. There is a scratch on this cover. The cover is, so I need to change this into the verb in its past participle form. The cover is scratched. There are no wheels on the car. The car has عندها no wheels. السيارة ما عندها wheels. The car has no wheels. The cables don't have any plugs. Okay, we need to change the sentence. There are no cables. Or there are no plugs on the cables. Let's see number 5. There's no workshop manual in this garage. Okay, this garage doesn't have, okay, this garage doesn't have a workshop manual. Finally, there is a dent in the roof of the car. The roof of the car is dented. Okay, the roof of the car is dented. Okay, let's see number 14. In this exercise, we need to change verbs between the brackets. Okay, depending on the tense you are using, you need to change it or put it as it's written. Okay, let's see the first one. Where did you buy your safety equipment? Okay, this is a question in the past simple. So I need the past form of buy, which is bought. I bought it online over the internet. That's good. How did you? Again, remember that if you use did, okay, you need just to put the verb in its base form. So each one of these are the base form of the verbs. Why? Because we use did here. Okay, how did you find the website? I, okay, this is simple sentence in the past simple. There's no did here. I need the past form of find, which is found. I found it through Google. I keyed in the word safety gear. How? You pay for it. How to make question here? In the past simple, we only need to use did. How did you buy? Did you? Again, whenever you use did, I don't need to change the verb. Did you use your own bank card? No, my computer. Okay, this is sentence in the past simple. My computer gave me a credit card last week. I want the verb in its past form. Used that. That's great when you receive. This is a question. Question. The past symbol is required by the auxiliary verb did. When did you receive the goods? They, the irregular verb, they came yesterday. Okay, well, we finished for today. Thank you for your listening and try to study the both units and emphasize on the use of the present perfect and the past simple and the difference between them, either in their making sentences or questions. Okay, see you inshallah in other units.